Today we're going to use a men's medium-sized t-shirt to make a highly protective face mask with no sewing required. Cutting and measuring, but no sewing. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut off the bottom 14.5 inches of the t-shirt. So I'm going to measure 14.5 inches. Mark it in a few places with a pencil. And now I'm going to cut. It does not have to be exact. None of these measurements have to be exact. Okay, we're going to put this part of the t-shirt aside for later. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to make one piece that's 30 inches long by making 2 vertical cuts. First thing I'm going to do is make a straight cut near one edge. And the next, I'm going to unfold it to make one long piece. And then I'm going to measure 30 inches from one end and cut that to make the outline, make the shape of the mask. Okay, so again, these don't have to be exact measurements, but I'm going to cut from this 30 inches up to the other mark. And now I'm going to save this piece for later also. So now I've got the main piece of my mask. Now the next thing is to note is that the bottom of the t-shirt will be the top of the mask. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to fold the mask in half. This way, for the cuts I'm about to make, we can make them on both sides at once. Now, 6 inches and 9 inches from the bottom of the mask, we're going to make some cuts. And 9 inches. And these cuts are going to go in from the right edge where it's doubled over. And make these cuts. We're going to go in 9 inches. 9 inches total from the right side. It's 9 inches. That's 9 inches. And now we're going to unfold our mask. Next, we have to make 8 more pieces for extra layers where our face is going to be in the center of the mask. We're going to take the rest of the t-shirt and we're going to measure off 8 squares that are each approximately 6 1/4 inches wide, 6 1/4 inches high. I'm going to do that now. There's my 6 1/4 in this direction. go 6 1/4 in this direction. Again, these don't have to be exact. These are approximate. The good thing is here too, I can use, once I have one square, I can use it as a template for the next, and I never have to use the ruler again. Since these will be inside the mask, no one can see them. They don't have to be exact. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up the rest of the shirt, other than the sleeves. One thing you can do here is if you leave the shirt doubled over, that front and back, you can actually make 2 squares at once. So I might make 2 more this way. Take the entire stack and make another 2 here. And 1 more. And if I look, this one, with this shirt, I don't even have to do any cutting. So there's our 8 inner layers. So now we've got our 8 squares and we've got our mask. So the main piece of mask. So the next thing which is important is to make sure that in order to make the filtering power of the mask much greater, we're going to set up the squares so that some of them are turned one way and some of them are turned the other way. So if you see the direction that the threads go in the way this cotton is weaved, these are vertical rows of threads. So I'm going to put 2 squares vertically. I'm going to 2 squares with the threads vertically, and I'm going to look and say, okay, I've got to get horizontal threads here. So I have two squares with the threads horizontal. Then I get 2 more with the threads going vertically. And finally, the last 2 squares, I want the threads going horizontal again. So I've got 2 horizontal, 2 vertical, 2 horizontal, 2 vertical. Now I've got my 8 layers of mask. Now the final step here is to put the 8 layers of mask inside and put the mask on. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to fold the top of the mask down about halfway to the top cut, like this. And then we're going to put the 8 squares from filters, extra filters, filtering layers. We're going to put those right against the top of where I folded down to. And then we're going to roll it all together down to the top cut. So what that does is that locks these squares, which are not sewed to anything, but it folds them in so they can't go anywhere. The next thing I'm going to do is put the mask on, tying the top strap behind the back of the base of my neck. so fairly low down, like this. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the bottom strap and we're going to fold it up over my head. Like that. The next step is to take the remaining middle strap and tie it around the back of my head. There's one important remaining piece. I'll take a scissor, cut some small pieces. That can be used to fill in the area next to your nose so that you get a much better seal there and you don't get air leaking in around the side of your nose. And there we have a highly protective, 2/3 as good as an N95 mask, homemade t-shirt mask, and no sewing required.